Welcome to the City Manager's Report. The City Manager's Report is your preview of the next Oshkosh Common Council meeting agenda and an update from your Oshkosh City Manager. Your hosts, Emily Makowski of Oshkosh Community Media and City Manager Mark Roloff.
And welcome to your City Manager's Report, your source for all the hottest things happening here in Oshkosh right now, as well as a preview of the upcoming City Council meeting agenda. I'm your host, Emily Makowski, joined as always by your City Manager, Mark Roloff. So Mark, as always, thanks so much for joining us today.
Great to be here, Emily.
So we'll go ahead and dive into our hot topics for the first half of today's show, take a little break, and then we will return with a preview of the City Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, November 24th, 2015. Mark, first thing that we want to talk about, a lot of people have been talking about it, and this is a pretty recent thing that just happened, was the police chief meet and greet. We've been kind of going through the process a little bit, trying to find just the right fit, and the meet and greet was held not too long ago. How did it go?
It went wonderful. We have 5 finalists who the Police and Fire Commission is considering, and the turnout was really good. The video, for a variety of reasons, was done later in the evening as the crowd was dying down. So the video we have doesn't do justice to the number of people that showed up. We were very excited that we had residents, a lot of folks with the neighborhood associations, because they are very committed to the whole team policing concept, and they were there in full force. We also had both off-duty police officers as well as on-duty police officers until there was a call and they took off out of the room. I think the video is after they had to take off. But they were there very interested in what the candidates, the finalists had to talk about, their philosophy on policing, just their approach, and just getting to know them on a one-on-one basis.
Kind of getting a feel for how they would act out within the community if they were to be hired, and kind of get a feel for their values and things.
The police chief is clearly one of the most visible city officials in the entire city, for any city, not just Oshkosh. And they needed to understand what it was going to be like to be police chief in Oshkosh. And I think there was a good slice of life of what it would be like. Certainly not always a little hors d'oeuvres or anything at the convention center, but certainly meeting with people, engaging them, talking with them, and just getting to know them as a person, because it's not just about being the chief law enforcement officer. It's also being a person who's going to be involved in the community. So
exactly.
I was very pleased. 5 really strong candidates from throughout the state and even the country, and very pleased with it. And I think it was good for the community to get that opportunity and then give a little feedback or give some thoughts on how that went.
Right, that public input is key in a decision like this. Now, we've had the listening session, we've had the meet and greet. Following that, there were some more interviews. There's been several panel interviews. What's the next step in this process, Mark?
We had 3 panels. One was a panel of community members. One was a panel of employees within the city, and then the third one was a technical peer panel. I was fortunate enough to be appointed by the Police and Fire Commission to that, so I really appreciated how they wanted me to be engaged in the process. But they wanted a slice of every aspect of the community, and I'm proud that the Police and Fire Commission was so insightful about what they wanted to look for. So they have met with all the panels and gotten feedback from them. And now the next phase is really what you got to call due diligence, because this is a very important position. This probably gets the most scrutiny and review of any municipal position at all. And that includes my position. You know, this person leads people who carry weapons, who have arrest powers. There's a lot of authority that goes with being a police chief and a lot of responsibility, and you can't take that lightly. So we have more due diligence to do on the finalists, and then at that point come back to the Police and Fire Commission so they can make a final decision. I think for the most part, the Police and Fire Commission just needs to hear back on some of those final things, and they'll make a final decision relatively soon.
Okay, great. Well, we're looking forward to finding out who that person will be, who will be leading our police department. All, like you said, very strong candidates, so it's we're really looking forward to it. It'll be great.
Yeah, I think we'll probably have somebody on board. Chief Groyle plans to retire around January 8th. I suspect we'll have somebody on board by then.
Wonderful. Another event that a lot of people were at and that people look forward to every year, Mark, is the Oshkosh Outlook. Maybe first, before we get into the themes and the addresses, maybe you can give us a little bit of an outline of what Oshkosh Outlook is.
Oshkosh Outlook is an event sponsored by Citizens for Strong Oshkosh. It's an organization of local citizens who want to inform and educate the public about issues related to the public agencies in our area. And so Outlook 2016 was the 5 representatives of the governmental entities in the area, the city, the county, Winnebago County, Fox Valley Technical College, the Oshkosh Area School District, as well as UW Oshkosh. So the chief executives of the Oshkosh folks are there to talk about what they see on the horizon for 2016.
Okay, and what were some of the themes? You actually spoke. Maybe you can tell us what your address was about.
I probably put a lot of focus, because the budget's coming up and everything, about some of the cuts in state aid and how we've been managing that. When there's cuts in state aid, that means we have to either increase taxes at the local level, increase fees at the local level, or make cuts at the local level. Those are really the options that you have. And there's a variety of ways to do it, but we really get constrained when things like our state shared revenue program that the state has been cutting or keeping the same since the 1990s. And that really impacts how the budget is.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that it trickles down in that way. So it's not just the city, it's a lot of the higher powers as well.
And we have some reductions in recycling grants from the state, as well as shared revenue, and some other areas. Transit aid is looking to go down. So all those things come into play. So that was my focus.
Okay.
There are other groups that had more rosier discussion points, and I really appreciated it. Collaboration was a huge part of our discussion, specifically the university talking about their collaborations with the city on projects, things we did down at the Alumni Welcome Center. County Executive Harris talked about the collaborations we've done with the Aviation Business Park, and both County Executive Harris and School Superintendent Stan Mack talked about the Three Waves Medical Clinic, which is our employee health clinic for all 3 entities. And then, of course, Melissa Cohn with Fox Valley Technical College talked about some of the collaborations we're working on with the Technical College to meet the needs of our workforce needs with everything changing. So a lot of collaborations across the board. The Technical College talked about working with the university. The university talked about working with the Technical College and the city and the school district. So it was a lot of getting the public to understand that we do work together on a lot of things. You may not always see it on the front line, but behind the scenes we're doing an awful lot of collaboration.
And so what a great opportunity for citizens to see all these people in the same room, bouncing ideas around and giving an update on where they're at as an organization. So it's a great way to get an inside look at the year ahead in Oshkosh.
And we recognize that those collaborations are really designed to be good stewards of public funds. They do save money. They do have good results, both in terms of service delivery as well as cost savings, and that's a very positive thing. And I think the public wants to know that we're working on that stuff on a regular basis, and I think we demonstrated that pretty well.
Right. Well, it sounded like it went really well, and if you would like to see it, we did cover it on City Cable 10, so that will be replaying on our channel. You can go to our website, oshkoshcommunitymedia.org, for schedules of the replay times. We just want to give residents here a little bit of a heads up about the pet license notices or reminders that are going to be mailed out this year. They will no longer be mailed out as a postcard directly to the pet license holders. It will be out in the tax bills this year. A little bit different.
A little bit. It's really cost savings, because we can send out a postcard, but we're paying for that postcard with everyone. This way, all the properties are getting a tax bill. Now, there is the imperfection in that is tenants of rental properties don't get those notices. So the reminders are going to go out with the tax bill, but you're going to see a lot of reminders on social media.
Right.
We're talking about it now. So these are not the notices. We don't send out a formal notice. You're required to do it by law. If you've got a pet, you know that you got to get your license updated annually. So the reminders are going to go out with the tax bills. But most of all, the license will be available beginning about December 3rd.
Yes, so for our viewers that are watching now, don't rush into City Hall tomorrow or today and pick up your license. They will not be available until December 3rd.
And so we'll keep getting the reminders out so
Yes.
people are aware of that. But this is how we're going to do it this year, and I think it'll help save a little money, which is good for everybody.
Definitely. So one other thing that we want to put a little plug in for is the Celebration of Lights. I know last show we talked about some holiday things happening, and now we've got one coming up on November 24th. The Celebration of Lights will be opening.
Celebration of Lights is a treasure for our community. It's so wonderful, and the footage. It doesn't matter how many times you've been out there. It's just a wonderful. It's a wonderful setting. It's a wonderful event. If you've got kids, I can't think of a more fun thing to do. I guess maybe aside from going to see Santa Claus, but Santa Claus is going to be there as well.
And this is kind of a record year. He'll be there a record number of times too. So for a lot of the nights, you can count on seeing him there. So he definitely scheduled us in his planner there.
I think Oshkosh was on the nice list this year.
I think so too.
Beginning November 24th, running all the way through
December 31st this year.
So all the way through New Year's Eve. So there'll be plenty of opportunities to go out there. But if you've never been out there, shame on you. But get out there. Santa's reindeer are out there. But just the displays and just being out in the crisp winter air, or stay in your car and stay warm. You have a choice on those things. So we're so pleased that this is something that the community just loves. And Celebration of Lights is a volunteer organization. We certainly coordinate with them with our Parks Department, and we do a lot of work to help get things in order, but this is primarily a volunteer organization that does all this, and the people that do it are just so dedicated, and it's a wonderful event for the community.
Yes, and affordable too. I think it's about $8, $7 or $8, and you get a $1 discount if you bring in a non-expired canned good item for the community. And there's lots of opportunities, community nights and things like that too.
And that's for the whole car. That's not
for a whole carload.
Stuff the car full of kids and neighbors and relatives, and come on down. And it's cheap entertainment and just a wonderful. It's just a treasure for our community.
Yes, it is. So once more, Celebration of Lights will be taking place November 24th through December 31st out at the beautiful Menominee Park. So we hope to see you there. Now it's that time of the show where viewers have the chance to ask their city manager anything they want about things that are happening right here in Oshkosh. So let's go ahead and take a look at the question mark question this week. All right, Mark, so the question this week is, what is going on with the Marion Road water tower design?
I love the simplicity of the question.
It's very
like, what's going on?
Straightforward and to the point.
We had council approve a few months ago what's known as the spheroid design. So that's the general design of it. We are still working on the preliminary design work, and we're actually going to be going to what's called a stakeholders group. We had a group of people give us input on this. So that's the basic shape of the tower. That design was really just more...
and all that, someone else's water tower.
Yeah, somebody else's water tower. We're not stealing it. The idea was just to give an example of what it would look like on the horizon.
Right.
So the stakeholders group is going to be looking at it probably in January, and then because it's in that area down around Marion Road, the Plan Commission will get some input into it as well. So, and then we'll be presenting it to council and letting them know that what the design is going to look like before it goes out to bid. We're hoping to get it out to bid over the winter so we can start getting spring construction. But this is what it looks like now, and the spheroid is much less of a impact on the horizon.
It's a little more pleasing to the eye and something that might stick out on its own as it is. So still in the planning phases. You said probably summertime, springtime, maybe?
We'll start digging ground, but you'll see some preliminary views of what it'll look like probably in January.
Wonderful. We're looking forward to it. So great question this week. If you'd like to send a question to Mark, you can simply email it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us. You can tweet it to us with the hashtag #Oshkosh, or you can comment on our Facebook page at Oshkosh Community Media Services. We're going to take a quick break here on City Manager's Report. When we come back, we'll go over the City Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, November 24th. We'll be right back.
Stay connected with Oshkosh Community Media Services and the City of Oshkosh. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube. Sign up for e-updates. More resources, including video, at OshkoshCommunityMedia.org. Oshkosh Community Media is your media on your schedule. Connect with us today.
Want to know what's happening in local government? Stay in the know with City of Oshkosh government meetings, live on TV, City Cable 10, online at OshkoshCommunityMedia.org, and on Community Radio WOCT 101.9 FM. Miss the live coverage? No problem. Catch replays on City Cable 10. Stream online from OshkoshCommunityMedia.org or visit youtube.com/Oshkosh Community Media Services.
Welcome back to City Manager's Report. Thanks again for joining us. I am here with your City Manager, Mark Roloff, and we are going to go ahead and take a look at the City Council meeting agenda for Tuesday, November 24th, 2015. So, Mark, really the first couple things that we want to talk about all have to do with 2016 projects. First one is stormwater, actually.
A lot of things to get ready for. You know, the budget we're going to be talking about in a little bit, but getting ready for next year is a lot of site preparation work, just planning for whatever projects are going to be happening in 2016. You know, item 6 is about some site review services, anything that comes up related to stormwater that we need to get reviewed by an outside entity, so we can put a lot of resources into it, because the whole idea is to turn things around quickly. So there's those things. Chemicals for our water treatment plant, we got to bid those out. So that's on the agenda. And then liquid oxygen for the water filtration plant. Those are things that we need to bid out every once in a while, make sure we're getting the absolute best bids. And then no matter what projects the council approves or doesn't approve, when they approve the capital improvement program on Tuesday, we got to do environmental reviews, and so we have a contract for that. So it's all that preparation work that you do in the winter, so that come springtime, when you start digging, you're ready to go. There's very
no
few
waiting game.
And no surprises. That's
Okay.
probably the most important thing. And surprises do result in waits, and we don't want to do that. We want to make sure that our projects get done quickly and without delays that can cost us money. So these are good investments to get projects done a lot smoother.
Yes, and it's good to know that all this stuff happens behind the scenes before a project takes place. And I think it's important for people to realize that the project doesn't start with a shovel in the ground. It starts with a lot of background work.
Yeah, usually projects for the year end around deer hunting season. I always joke that the projects will get done by deer hunting season, but right after deer hunting season is when our folks get out of the field, back into the office, and then they start working on these things. So they're going to be busy all winter long preparing for next year's construction season.
Definitely. Mark, we're going to kind of breeze through this agenda towards the last section of it here under new resolutions. One of those, number 29, Resolution 15-511, is award bid to PTS contractors for a contract for the Aviation Business Park. That's almost $3 million.
This is a big project, and I'm really crossing my fingers. This is potentially could get even cut from the agenda, and I point that out because it may very well get pulled. This is the project that is funded with a $2 million grant from the Economic Development Administration, or the EDA. Now, sometimes with federally funded projects, there's a lot of bureaucracy, and the video you're looking at here is actually from last fall of 2014.
Yes.
There's a lot of environmental review, a lot of other different reviews that need to take place, and we've just we were given the notice to proceed with the bid, but we haven't been given the notice to proceed to award the bid, and we need that notice before council awards it. So we're still awaiting their approval, but the whole idea is we need to get ground broken officially, not the show,
Yes.
the showy one, but we need to get that done by the end of the year. So we're working towards that, and we're hoping to get that authorization before next Tuesday. Otherwise, it'll be on a future agenda before the end of the year.
Right. Like you said, it could be on, we're hoping it'll be on the agenda next Tuesday. If it's not, it definitely will be on the following agenda.
But the beauty of it is now it's on its way. And number two, this bid is about $600,000 under budget. So that's great news. Even though the EDA is funding it at $2 million, our share was $2.6 million. So we're probably going to each save a little bit of money or figure out how we can maximize that grant for maybe some other utilities or something else in the area. That remains to be seen, but whenever it's under budget, we're very happy about that.
Yes, well, exciting. We're excited to see where this goes, and hopefully we'll be hearing about it on Tuesday. Next item we want to talk about, item number 31, is authorized submitting application to Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation for a grant on behalf of the Morgan District for the former Geldwin site. And this is quite a mouthful here, first of all, but it's what exactly is going to be going on here on the Geldwin?
The Morgan District has a lot of work to do with clearing the site, and they're seeking a grant from WEDC, the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, to help clean up the site. And we're certainly more than happy to help them in anything they can do to get the site cleared, because the quicker they can get the site cleared, the grant will help keep those costs down, which will make development more affordable, and we want to help them with that. There's no specific plans right now. They've got some preliminary things that they're looking at, but the idea is a mixed-use development there. A little bit of residential, a little bit of commercial, bringing people downtown to live. I think the Morgan District partners have looked across the river at what's going on in Marion Road. I think they see that a market is there, and that's where I think some of the residential is going to come from. But to have a downtown be cool, as they say, what you really want to look at is having residential and some commercial things available so that people can go shopping or out to dinner or things like that. So I think they've got some great ideas, and we'll see what the market bears, but we're real happy to help them.
Wonderful. So this is kind of getting it all ready for those great plans, the site cleanup and just preparing it. So we're looking forward to seeing that happen, Mark. We've got a nice little chunk of time left in the show we wanted to give for the city budget. We are on the home stretch. It looks like we are approving the budget and adopting it at this meeting.
This is part of the process. We need the budget approved primarily so we can have the council approve what the tax rate's going to be and what the tax bills are going to be, because we need to get the tax bills mailed out around the first week of December. So pretty much the deadline is here. The council needs to approve this so we can get the tax bills done. So that's really the primary motivation, to get the budget adopted when we do.
And it's not just one item. I'm looking at, it's 4 items here on the agenda. So what are all those different aspects?
Well, the budget itself that appropriates the money, that says you will spend or budgeting this much money for 2016. We also have to set the tax levy, which is the amount of property taxes we will collect in terms of dollars, but that's just us. Remember, we're only about 1/3 of the tax bill, but we have to do our tax levy.
Okay.
Then we have to set our tax rate, and then we also adopt a resolution that includes what everybody's tax bill what everybody else's tax bill is going to be, meaning what's the Fox Valley Technical College going to charge, the Oshkosh Area School District, Winnebago County. We don't set those rates, but we compile that so that when we prepare the tax bill, we get it out so everybody knows exactly what their bill is, and that's our responsibility to do. Okay. So we get the bill done, and then the last thing is the capital improvement plan, the CIP, which says here are our big capital projects for the year, and we identify all those projects, and council approves those.
Wow, so it's a lot. It's quite a bit to go over. Any big changes? I know we've been talking budget for the past few months here. We've kind of gotten a little bit of an overview of what to expect. Is there anything that will be different that might jump out at us?
Well, council can make any changes right up to the end, but after the public hearing that was held at the last meeting, council gave us some preliminary direction on ideas that they would like to have it's sort of a menu for them to choose from on ideas that different council members have proposed. Some of the options that are on the table, some are very specific, some are more general, but one of the options was to add a police officer. So that is out there. The cost is about $79,000 on an annual basis. So that's an option that they're going to consider. And then there's other various relatively minor increases or decreases depending on what council members want to do, both in the operating budget as well as the capital budget. Council members kicked around a few different ideas that during the workshops, so that menu of options is out there for the council to consider. And then we need to make some structural changes to the budget, not to really increase or decrease any specific dollars, but we need to comply with the expenditure restraint rules that are set by the state, and there's certain things we can do structurally to make sure we stay in compliance with that. And then finally, one of the other things we're doing is with respect to our building inspection division, it's largely funded by fees and charges. Very few tax dollars go into that. And right now, it's actually paying for itself. So the general taxpayer does not subsidize when somebody gets a building permit. So what we're doing is we're putting that into a separate fund so that we can track the revenues as well as the expenditures out of that fund. And the idea behind that is so that if you are paying a fee for a building inspection service, that you know where your dollars are going.
Right.
So
Which is a big concern for most people.
Yeah, everybody wants to know. It's accountability, and I think it's very appropriate that people see that. So that's one of the things that we're doing to track those expenses, and that's pretty much what we're going to see with the menu of options that council will have before them.
Wonderful. Overall, feeling good about the budget this year?
Well, it's been easier. We talked about in previous city manager reports that health insurance costs are going down from 2015 to 2016. To be honest with you, that helped a lot. That's not a guarantee for the future, but it certainly helped us balance a budget this year, maintain a certain level of services, gives council the option to consider perhaps in addition to the police department. Without those savings on the health insurance side, we probably wouldn't be having those types of discussions. So we're very happy that we're able to offer those options for the council to consider.
Well, great. And then after these things, there are a few other items to consider, one of them being number 37, dealing with the recycling fee, everybody's favorite topic.
Yeah, I'm very reluctant to be recommending this, but it's something that we need to do. Unfortunately, the state has cut the recycling grant program by about 20%. And so that's resulting in a big hit to our recycling fund that we use. Additionally, as everybody knows, if you've ever turned in your own aluminum cans, the market has fallen for a lot of the recyclable commodities. There was one year we got close to $300,000. Now we're about $50,000 a year.
That number still shocks me.
So we just lose so much money there. And then, of course, we need to begin replacing our recycling trucks. We automated those back in 2009. They really only get about a 7-year life to them before they really start to wear down. So we're going to have to start the process of replacing those. And those three things together are going to result in the recycling fee going up to $35 per residential unit. It's not something I'm thrilled about, but we need to make sure that we're financially covering the cost of our recycling program.
And that's an example, like we stated earlier in the first half of the show, of the state cuts kind of moving down and the effects of that a little bit, correct?
Yeah, there is a trickle-down effect, and we're hoping that the state will increase that in future years, but there's no guarantee, and we need to be fiscally responsible for that fund, and we need to get our equipment staying up to date. Otherwise, we're going to fall behind. Maintenance costs go up, and then the replacement costs go up, and we just can't do that.
Right. So we're looking forward to hearing all the details of the budget come the council meeting next Tuesday. I think we got a nice little preview, and we thank you for that, Mark. So thanks, as always, for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Again, the City Council meeting is this Tuesday, November 24th at 6 p.m. You can watch it live on City Cable 10 and also on our website at oshkoshcommunitymedia.org. You can also listen to it at 101.9 WOCT, which is now also online and on the TuneIn Radio app for mobile devices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter for all of your community and government programming and updates, or check out our YouTube channel for government meeting replays and past episodes of your favorite programs. Don't forget, if you have a question for Mark, you can email it to questionmark@ci.oshkosh.wi.us, tweet it to us with the hashtag Oshkosh, Oshkosh, or comment on our Facebook page at Oshkosh Community Media Services. As always, thanks so much for joining us on your City Manager's Report, and we'll see you next time.